Hello everyone, welcome to the Enterprise Co-op Program information session. My name is Esteban Ventimilla and I am one of the advisors for the e-Co-op program. And together with Wayne Chan, who is the coordinator of the Enterprise Co-op program, we run this opportunity for students to work on their own projects and businesses during 4 months and get co-op credit out of it. And today I'm going to be covering a little bit more about what can you expect from the e-Co-op program. The University of Waterloo, including the Waterloo, Kitchener, and Cambridge campuses, is situated in the Haldimand Tract, land promised to the Haudenosaunee of the Six Nations of the Grand River, and is traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. So the program is run by the Conrad School of Entrepreneurship and Business, which is an immersive educational environment for entrepreneurs. The Conrad School is recognized for being the academic engine for entrepreneurship on campuses, and we offer programs that are entrepreneurial by design. This includes a master's program, which is Master's in Business, Entrepreneurship, and Technology. There's both a full-time program and a part-time program. Undergraduate courses for students to complete either a minor or an option in entrepreneurship, depending if you're in engineering or if you're from another faculty. And specialized entrepreneurship co-op programs, which is the Bridging Entrepreneurs to Students program. So that is open for first work-term students from the Faculty of Engineering, Mathematics, Environment, and Arts. And it's open in both the winter and the spring term. And students get an opportunity to work directly with startups as their first work experience. And second, which is what we're going to be covering throughout this session, is the Enterprise Co-op program that basically runs every single term. And as I mentioned in summary, you're going to be working on your own business for 4 months and getting co-op credit out of it. So the general overview of the Enterprise Co-op programs, students will be developing their early stage startups and learning the fundamentals elements of business in general. Specifically, you're going to be diving deep into business models and business plans, really understanding market sectors and building new products or services depending on what your startup, on the startup that you're building. The work environment really requires you to develop communication and presentation skills, facing customers and end users. One of the hugely important things that we have is that you need to go out of the building, quote unquote, and go and talk to your end users to really understand what is their problem, what are their frustrations, how are they currently solving it, and how can you build a solution that's much better, at least 10 times better than what's out there. Adapt dynamically to short-term challenges in the schedules from outside conditions. Identify and act on new business opportunities. So these are all aspects of people that are creating their new early stage startups. The 3 key attributes of e-co-op students that we are looking for in the program are they're self-managing and self-directing. You can clearly organize your day, your week, and monthly plans and meet deadlines. That means that you manage your own term. So every startup is different. Every startup goes through a different process. But at the end of the day, the one who's going to be managing that is going to be yourself. So you're going to need to demonstrate to us that you're going to be working at least 35 hours a week for the 4 months that the work term lasts, just to make sure that you're meeting the co-op requirements. Usually people that take the program as entrepreneurs, you might be working way more than that, but that is the requirement for our program. Second, you have to be open to advice and coaching. You have asked for constructive feedback and criticisms. You have to be talking to advisors, mentors, and peers, and really take this feedback. Now, this feedback should be processed to help you build your enterprise. What that means is that you're not going to be basically taking every single piece of advice that you hear and applying it to your business, but we trust that you're doing your work, you're really understanding your customers, you're understanding your market segments, you understand your business. So of course, you're going to be the one that needs to make the decisions once you hear the feedback, but you really need to be open to those pieces of feedback. just to make sure that you can keep improving, you can keep learning, you can get better, and you can pivot. And finally, you will have the Maker Manager schedules. Basically, this is a blog created by Paul Graham, and he's one of the founders of YC. The idea behind this is how you can schedule time blocks separately for maker time and manager time. What this means is like maker time is kind of like this is the time that you're building. You're doing something, like building something like for your business, whether that's software, whether that's hardware, whether that's like creating something, a new service, or designing a new service. The idea is like that's the maker schedule, when it's like you on your computer or with your tools building your product. And then on the other hand, the manager activities are mostly like the relationships, the networking, the meetings that you have to do, the delegation that you have to do with your team, and all of those things. And the idea behind it is that it's really hard to balance out a schedule when you're breaking it off, like in the middle of like you're coding something, and then 1 hour you have a meeting, and then you have to go back to it, and then another meeting that you have to go back to it. So the idea is to really have these chunks of work that you can really dive deep and focus on building your product or service, and then on the other hand you can focus on managing your business. And keep in mind that this includes attending events that are high value for professional and business development. And this is a key attribute for dynamic equilibrium, resilience, and productivity. And here's a link that you can access to read more about it, and highly, highly recommend it. Participation is required specifically for Ignition Week. So that's kind of like a startup bootcamp. So in the first or second week of the work term, you're going to be required to attend a full week of training. In that training, we're going to be covering the main aspects and fundamentals of entrepreneurship and business. We're going to be taking into account stuff like how to build an MVP, what are business model canvas, sales, marketing, how to really understand the problem of your client, basically all the fundamentals that you need to learn for you to get started. One thing is that this is completely required, and it's synchronous training, and you can only skip this if you are doing this e-co-op term for your second time. Then we have the e-launch awards, which are $5,000 each. That's a pitch competition during this training week that I'm telling you about. It's usually on the Friday. Everyone is required to attend and present. It's a 5-minute pitch, and it's an amazing opportunity to win $5,000 to get your business kick-started. Of course, you can only participate if you haven't won the award before. And there are 5 awards at the beginning of the term. And then finally, we have a midterm and end of term presentation. So that will be on the 8th week of the term and the 15th week of the term. And you are required to attend, and you're required to present. One thing to note, it is that most likely it's going to be an online term. So this is an online event. The work term progress requirements, so what do we need from you during the term, is the term goals and action plan. A template is going to be provided in Ignition Week, and you're going to have your version 1 done by Friday of that Ignition Week. That is basically what are the things that you want to achieve, and how are you going to be able to achieve those. Aside from that, you need to complete a Udacity online course on how to build a startup. And then you're going to be having to do a monthly plan on the product, services, and relationships table, the PSR table that I'm going to be covering in the next slide. And then also we have the 1 in 15 reports. That means that every 1st and 15th of every month, you're going to be sending this report directly to us. You're going to be chaining together the previous reports, and like basically you keep accumulating what's going on. And the idea is that you can report on your progress, you can report on your main challenges, you can report on your main learnings and set new goals. And that way this keeps you accountable and helps us understand exactly what is it that you're doing to build your startup, and for us to like advise you in a better way. And the idea, of course, while you do this, is to cross-reference it with what we previously mentioned in terms of term goals and action plan. And you're going to be meeting with mentors and advisors in a weekly basis. For around 30 minutes, unless you want more time, we're happy to help. And the idea is to review this weekly, just so you can keep on track on what you're building. Here's the PSR table. The idea is to capture what is it that you're doing based on your product, based on your services that you're providing, and based on the relationships and networking. So here's just a quick example in terms of product. For example, let's take a look at month one. In terms of product, you're going to be building a prototype. In terms of services, you're going to be writing a blog for your community. In terms of relationships, you're going to have, and especially month one, get kick-started with the coordinator of the program, meet the mentors and advisors, and then of course, you always have to be talking to your users and customers. But the idea is to help you organize and think on exactly what are the product, services, and relationships that you're going to be nurturing throughout your term. And with that, that will be it for the information session. You can always contact us. And I'm just going to go really quickly into the first slide so you can see our contact information. Feel free to contact us. We're always happy to help and looking forward to host you in our next e-co-op term.